Call the regular meeting, Dickinson County Commission, January 25th, 2024 to order. Please stand for flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move for the approval agenda. No additions. Have a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I voted aye for that too. Consent agenda. Minutes of January 18th meeting. Expenditure of $327.89. SD wire security of $3,869. Prior year expenditures, 23. $37,879.78. And checks, $5,182.66, which would have been for our jury trials. Escape taxes of $12.56. Abatements of $1,195.18. And added tax of $4,691.54.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
And moved in second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Ron, commission comments?
Just a few comments from callers this week here on regard to the roads, the county roads in our area. And obviously it's concerned to everybody and the county's looking into all that. But we're all facing the same problem. Soft roads, none of rock and so on, but it has been addressed.
Thank you, Ron. Lynn?
Yesterday I was in Topeka and the KAC, Kansas Association of Counties, had a meeting, but also the League of Kansas Municipalities for Cities were there. So we did partner with them on a couple of items and heard from some legislators. I also visited with a few representatives and senators there that morning at the Capitol and attended a hearing that had to do with voting registration, making applications to receive ballots and so on. And it was interesting to hear what's going on across the state, but also just to, make sure we maintain the integrity of our voting system and the ballots. And I think Jeannie does a great job on that. And we have 4 elections or so coming up this year, calendar year. So I'm glad our county is on top of that, but there's, always things to look at. And so it was good to attend that.
Thank you, Lynn. Early this morning, we went up to the health department, the EMS building, looked at the 2 new ambulances. Commissioners and Jeannie and Janelle. Jeannie also gave her report as election officer and county clerk. I had zoomed in yesterday to the Kansas Association of County meeting. The R&R, Shawnee County has had some issues with it. They're probably, I don't know if they're going to lose or not, but the BOTA is taking them to, depends on the decisions from BOTA, but it could cost them up to $7 million for not doing the R&R rights. They voted on it 4 times and didn't do it in the correct order. They didn't pass a resolution at one meeting and then at the next meeting. So I can't see that BOTA would hold them to that, because the biggest thing is a lot of the checks would only be for $1 or $2. So it'll be more a bookkeeping nightmare than anything else. I mean, but plus $7 million. Also was with the R&R, there was a problem with the school district down at Baldwin, and they didn't have the resolution quite correct. So they left out a couple of words. So that's in the court stuff. Penny County, the zoning issue, and I can't remember for sure, but it's still going on. The planning and zoning and the city and the county are having an issue with the language and what they want done in around the city.
The area of influence.
Yeah, area of influence. And also, back in the highlights is a 3 mile issue. It's gaining traction because the deal is that the people that are in that 3 mile outside the city limits are affected by what the city councils do and what they can do out in their property. So they've, some of it will be moving back to 1.5 miles, some other mile, and some of it's to deal with this area of influence. LAVTR, the J Hall thinks that the commission, not the commission, the Senate and the House have enough votes to pass it, but the House leadership and Senate leadership will not bring it to the floor. Oh, we were rolling the 100 valuation cap. I mean, they're the rolling valuation R&R, and they're talking about doing it 5 to 8 years. So it'd be kind of like property tax on background. So it wouldn't be the, I mean, it'd be more gentle up in the curve. I don't know what that.
They didn't talk about that yesterday, really, when we were at the afternoon.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we were for almost 3 hours at the meeting. There also is the work in the legislature to give us the authority, rather than coming to the Senate and the House, for tax issues, on sales tax issues, that we're taking to the voters anyway, so why should they have to approve it? And out of Graham County, the district judge removed one commissioner, but no one, it's a 2-0 vote out here and nobody seems to know why. And the KCCA meeting is going to be in April. Pittsburgh is the 14th and 15th this year. That's all I have. Any public comments? We have anybody on the line? I can't see that.
There's 2 people, but let me see. I don't believe there's any comments currently. Does not look like it.
You're up. Thank you. You're 3 to 4 minutes and name and address, and thank you for coming.
Raymond Bielefeld, 329 Key Road, cleared out the end of the county, 2 miles from the line. I do not want wind turbines in my backyard. About 4 miles south of me, there's a row of turbines. I watched the farm go in. Quite interesting. They're noisy. And if the vote comes up for you to approve or reject the wind farm, I urge you to go down and visit those turbines sometime. It's interesting. They're straight south of me. There's one on each side of the road, and they're pretty noisy. Every time a blade comes around, there's a big swish. And also I noticed during this cold spell and the snow, they haven't been turning. So I asked a person very familiar with them. He says turbines don't like temperature extremes, hot or cold. That's when you need the electricity. I thought. I like the wide open view of the landscape without interruptions. Cultivating the Future, the Dickinson County Comprehensive Plan 2050. I thought that was well written, had a lot of thought in it, and it was a good study. But turbines come in, to me, this is going to be shredded. I don't understand why people want to lease their land to a foreign company in a foreign country. Or if the turbines go in, it's a 10-year lease and they can renew those leases up to 40 years. A landowner cannot get out of the lease. They come in with very heavy equipment. Those cranes they put them up with are extremely heavy, come in by the semi-loads for counterweights. I don't think that's too good for the land either. Chamberlain, congratulations on your new position. Good luck to you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And just for general information, we do get a lot of information, emails and stuff. We didn't get it. Yeah, we got one.
Yes.
Today and stuff, and we keep them all in a file and stuff. So appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Anybody else? If we have no proclamation or anything, so your county update.
Commissioners, quite a few things were going on this past week. So in this last 10 days or so of weather, the highway department spent just shy of $75,000 between hours, labor, and equipment and material cost for the weather that we were out and about clearing the roads for. But 820 hours of labor. We had $32,000, almost $33,000 for equipment, and then $22,000 essentially of material costs. So right now, between the salt and the sand that we have utilized, we're about 40%. So what I'm including in that, or what Martin includes in that, is the time from December when we were out brining and putting salt and sand down to today, essentially. So, and we keep 1,000 ton of salt and sand on hand. We'll go and replenish that, but by his estimation, we've utilized about 40% of that. So,
if I'm correct, though, that we may have trouble getting that sand and salt.
it's a possibility, yes, but we'll get on that as quickly as we can. Same way with rock. So, now speaking of road conditions with the melting snow and the moisture, and Ron had mentioned that as well, as he's received calls on that. We're going to have to let the roads dry out. It's going to take a little bit. We know that the roads are not as easily travelable. We ask that you just take your time, be cautious, and be aware of that when you are out on the gravel roads. The highway department is also, because of the weather that we've had, they're looking at a different brining system. So what we're understanding is during the freezing snow or the freezing temperatures and then the snowfall that came down, we saw that KDOT was out brining during that time. And typically this is something that's done prior. And we're going to look and see what system that they were using and if that's something that maybe we would want to consider. So EMS department is interviewing for an open position. He had a couple interviews this week, and dispatch will be doing the same thing as well. She has 2 open positions in dispatch. Marcus is preparing for our annual audit. We are required to do that as well as an inventory of county equipment, and both those are in statute. So we're moving forward with that. The appraiser's office has completed their first round of final review. So this is setting values for the upcoming tax year. The environmental services had gone through and completed a forklift certification for their staff. One thing I wanted to point out to you as well, that last fall we had countywide cleanup, and we also opened it up for tire disposal. So the cost for the tire disposal was $50,412. So that was an extreme amount of tires. That was 288 ton of tires that we collected. So that was a lot of tires, to say the least. So, but they've all been cleaned up, and that certainly helps the county look better.
Where's Chaplin at?
Chaplin is out of Concordia. Yeah. So
what do they do with them up there?
They usually grind them up, and sometimes they've stored them, from what I understand, and then use them when the time comes for. They've made playground base for them. They've also made benches and picnic tables. In fact, we'd had one here at one point with that. It's still sitting out back there. So, which at least there's a secondary use for them, which is good. Planning and Zoning Board has recommended approval of a lumber mill, and that will be coming to you next month. And then they also have a subdivision that they'll be hearing. And then our emergency manager is participating in a tabletop exercise with the region for wildfire evacuation. So there's quite a few things going on with county staff this month. So that would be all I would have.
Lynn, you have any questions for Janelle?
Well, the only thing on the road, and I know the gravel and
Mhm.
all of that, I mean, it must be challenging because I know Martin says sometimes the quality of the gravel,
Correct.
how quickly it crushes or,
And the size of the gravel, the larger
Size.
pieces, it just makes it a rougher road to travel. But right now with the moisture, it's very difficult to go ahead and go down and put those heavy trucks on them and spread rock because you're damaging the road it's so soft, you're damaging the road too while you're putting more rock on. So that means also we're going to put even more rock on it. So we've got to let it dry out. And the townships are going to be in the exact same boat. So we're addressing it as best we can. We're doing what we can, but we ask for patience from the citizens as well. And just make sure that you're driving slow when you're on that and be aware that it could be a little bit slick in areas because, the roads aren't as, they don't have the rock on them like they had before. So.
and that's one of the expenses. It's difficult for us to rein in because gravel has increased in price.
Yes.
Considerable, and the supply and demand is an issue. And we still have the same amount of roads.
Mhm.
Townships have the same amount of roads. And so unless we find more roads to lessen the grade of the road, I mean, that's going to be a challenge to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And two very good points, the availability of getting rock and, spreading it out all over. So it's just, and the cost going up considerably. I think we budgeted an estimated $2 more a ton, if I'm not mistaken, as to what it's going to pay or what we're going to have to pay. So we'll evaluate that as they're out working. And
I know one time Martin, the rock was not available where we needed it here, and he drove further to get it, but also mentioned it was a better quality. It was a harder rock.
it was a harder rock.
So
There's a trade-off there.
and we may need to keep that in mind. I mean, I know Martin does, but
Right.
I applaud your efforts to
We're doing.
balance that out.
Yes.
County Councilor, good.
Thank you. Usually try to help out by putting two wheels in the ditch side to help with the cost on the road. The other matter is, we've got a contract with 4 attorneys for the court system here in Dickinson County. And one of the attorneys has given her notification that she'll be ending her time with us at the end of January. And we have been able to land a individual by the name of Russ Rowe, who's an attorney out of Junction City. He was retired and wanted to get back into the business. And so he's sent the contract to him, and I anticipate he'll be signing it because he said he would. And I've encouraged him to get a hold of Jennifer Dahlstrom, who's the individual who's leaving the contract, and get up to speed with those cases, and so that he'll be able to start effectively on February the 1st. Hopefully that issue is taken care of. Now, I've sent the contract to him, but I haven't got it back. But he hadn't time to get it back yet. But he's assured me that he'll do it, and he wants it, and looking forward to it. So that fills that spot. And if not, I've got another individual in Manhattan who would be ready to step into that spot. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any questions? Doug? Hi, Doug. Notice and communications. I don't know. I got this from CB Ranch. It would be Chris Bielefeld. I'm not going to read it in its entirety, but it's regarding the cultivating the future of Dickinson County comprehensive plan. Does Mother got this?
No, they each got a copy of
Okay,
it. Yeah.
so, well, we'll put that in the file for future. We also got an invitation. I know we had it last week to the Soil Conservation Service annual meeting, February 8th. I will be attending. Lynn, you're going to be attending. We know by the 2nd, so we don't have to determine it right now. But like,
Probably not, but I'll verify.
Okay.
Later.
that's all the notice of communications, introductions of resolutions. Resolution 012524, reviewing commission districts. Nell, you want to?
Commissioners, this is David data that came from the 2020 census, and then part of your responsibility or our responsibility as a county is to take a look at your districts and look at the population and the square miles and the percentages. So they have changed slightly from the previous resolution, which I believe you looked at in 2017. And so you can see that District 1, which is Ron's district, population is 5,667. And that's at 30.8% of our population of the county, which is 18,432, according to Jeannie, but 477 square miles. And then District 2, which is Lynn's district, 6,407, which basically encompasses the city of Abilene. And that's 34.8% and 5 square miles. And then District 3, which is Craig's, is 6,328 in population, or 34.4%, 370 miles. So this is the information pulled from the census and as part of one of your regular processes that we ask you take a look and approve this resolution.
The statute says that there's, in my opinion, the most equitable way to do it is by population, and it's supposed to be by population and land.
And land.
But the former commissioners decided not to do it that way, and I have to agree with them that this is probably the best way to do it. I'm not sure if there's any way we can't get Lynn's any less people without, I don't know, without taking a ward out.
You have to take a precinct.
Yeah.
Right, and that would be difficult.
Yeah. I mean, it could be done, but I don't feel like at this time it's out of any bounds. Right.
And if you recall, I think when you reviewed this in 17, that's one of the reasons why, based on the population, we changed a little bit of District 1 and added Center Township into it. So.
No, that's when we moved. I took Reinhardt, Vern took.
Okay, flip them. Yes, to equalize the population a little bit more. Yeah.
I have a motion to approve the.
I'd move that we adopt resolution 012524 that outlines the county commission districts.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Other comments? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Unfinished business, we have none. Other business, contract renewal with SD Security. Yeah.
Commissioners, as you walk through the front door, you see that we've got a security company there, and we've had SD Security for several years now. This is just a renewal that we have, and a couple changes to this. We were renewing it annually. We've gone to 2 years renewal on that. I think that SD has provided a very good service for, and I would give appreciation to them, because as citizens walk through our metal detector and the staff gives them direction where they need to go. They'll help them go down to the treasurer's office if it need be. So they go above and beyond providing security for us. So, and also it does include a increase on their fee for service. As you know, as we're going through our own compensation survey, that prices have increased. So there's a $2 increase for their hourly wage. And we have 2 staff on duty during courthouse hours, but they also are here if we have a meeting in the evening and we need security here, or if court goes longer into the evenings, they would be here as well. So I would ask that you approve this effective today.
I have a motion to approve the agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve the SD Security for Dickinson County Courthouse.
I'll second it. Been moved and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Interlocal agreement between the City of Chapman Neighborhood Revitalization Plan. Now.
Commissioners, I need a drink now. So the Neighborhood Revitalization Plan, had been adopted quite a few years ago for the City of Chapman. And then due to some changes there, it kind of dropped off. It's time to renew that again. And basically what this is, it's under Kansas statute 12-2904 and then 12-17119. We can enter into an agreement to perform certain functions for economic development and neighborhood revitalization. So City of Chapman has adopted a resolution approving their plan and submitted that to the state. And it's for new construction and rehabilitation of structures in that defined area of the plan. And it is to improve growth of the city along with public health, safety, and wellness. So, and it includes in tax incentives, so ad valorem property tax rebates. And that's where the county comes into play, and also the school district is part of this agreement as well. So we're offering rebates for the participation in the plan within that area, the eligible area. So this interlocal agreement expires on December 31st of 2029, or it could be terminated. It has to go through the State Department of Commerce, and also has to go through the Attorney General's office for approval as well. So we would ask that you approve this plan, and then I'll submit it back to the City of Chapman, and they'll follow their process. They will handle all of the applications, they'll handle the paperwork, then they will submit it to the county appraiser's office and then flow through our process here for the rebates.
And Janelle, the purpose is for new construction, rehabilitation, and tax incentives, reducing, property tax for 10 years.
Correct.
That's the gist of it in a nutshell.
Well, it's a great economic tool for people to continually do upgrades, and it's important for downtown and building owners.
And it does also have to be signed by the school district of Chapman and the city of Chapman.
Correct.
Not only agreement with us, it's the three taxing entities.
I would move that we formalize our part of that agreement for the interlocal agreement with the city of Chapman on their neighborhood revitalization plan.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to culvert bids at 425 1700 Avenue and 588 Barn Road, Janelle.
So commissioners, those are two structures that the highway department will be replacing, and they submitted bids to three contractors, and it is for a 30-inch by 44 14-gauge corrugated aluminum T2 coating. And then also the one out 1700 Avenue and the one on Barn Road is 81-inch by 59 by 36 foot 12-gauge 3x1 corrugated aluminum coating, along with a 30-inch by 36 foot 14-gauge structure, or culvert. So they received three bids, one from J&J Drainage Products Company for $7,036. The next was from Contact Engineered Solutions for $8,625.40. And the final was from Metal Culverts for $10,439.20. And that's for both projects. And staff is recommending the bid from J&J Drainage Products at the $7,036.
I'll make a motion to accept the J&J bid for drainage products for $7,036.
I'll second it. Moved and seconded. Now, this is just for the culvert.
This is just for the culverts, right, at the
Okay. Barn Road and
1700 Avenue.
okay. Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, the next one.
The next one is for structural steel and decking sheeting at 1675 2500 Avenue. So there's quite a bit that goes in this. And this is actually a 20-foot structure. So it is a small bridge that will be replaced there. Staff had identified it when they were going through their annual process. They might have identified it last year when they were going through that. And we sent out 4 requests for bids. We received 3. This is, the first one is from Odin for $28,955.74. The next one is Wellborn Sales for $35,404.40. Husker Steel is $32,172. And then we had no bid. And that includes the angle iron, the flat iron, the I-beam, and the crossbars that would be installed on this. So staff is recommending the structural steel portion of this from Odin at $28,955.74.
I'll move that we approve the bid from Odin for $28,955.74.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
The next one is for the decking sheeting, and that's 10, 12 gauge aluminized 24 inch by 24 foot long as well as 50 aluminized push sheeting 12 gauge. And the only bid that we have from that is Wellborn Sales, and I believe that they're the only vendor that is able to produce this, and that was $20,464 even. So, and we'll.
I'd go ahead and move that we accept the bid for decking sheeting from Wellborn Sales for $20,464.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Which I will make comment here that the Wellborn Sales is the only one in the last 10 years that has done the sheeting.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not like we'll try to get everybody, but they're the only ones that did it.
Mhm.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Approval of the appointment of Alan Schwartz as Wheatland Township Treasurer.
Last week on your agenda, you had the resignation of Ronnie Phillips for Wheatland Treasurer, and they have found a replacement for him. And Alan Schwartz has stepped up and is willing to take that on. So we're just asking that you would approve this appointment.
I'll make a motion to accept Alan Schwartz for position.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. We do have one other item we need to address.
For our upcoming meeting
Yeah.
on February 8th, we will be in Topeka for County Government Day, and that is our regularly scheduled meeting that you would also be approving the accounts payable portion of that. So tentatively, we are looking at moving that regular meeting to February the 7th at 11 o'clock. It should be unless Jeannie has got lots of things, and I probably won't talk much this time, I hope. Move it to that Wednesday, the day before. So you would need to approve the accounts payable piece of it.
And that would be only for a regular meeting. It wouldn't be for the work session.
Correct.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion about moving our February 8th meeting to February 7th? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carried. Janelle did provide in our packet of stuff here, something we're going to be handing out at the county day at the Capitol. Any thoughts on it, gentlemen?
I think it looks awful good.
It's great job. Good
Tiffany did
information.
that, so
Okay.
She will be taking down the ice cream scoops.
I will be taking down the ice cream scoops. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Will this be available for the public also? I mean, will there be a few?
Absolutely. We'll have copies and we can have that out. So
Okay, I mean, I think it's a great handout, or would be something that
Mhm.
would be well served to have, that's your office desk or
Mhm.
treasurer's office, so.
we could do that. And Craig, I think Jessica has
oh, I'm sorry.
stuff
Yeah.
to pass on.
I do. Jessica Goodale, Executive Director of the Dickinson County Economic Development Corporation at 203 Northwest 15th in Abilene. I apologize that I wasn't able to make it for the public comment section because I was actually publishing this to the media. So I wanted to be the first to let you know that our office is announcing that Rackett's Tap House in downtown Abilene has been awarded a $57,728 boost from the Historic Economic Asset Lifeline Grant Program, which is known as the HEAL program. Rackett's Tap House will soon begin their building renovations at 303 North Broadway in Abilene as a result. And this historic building stabilization project is a grant from the Kansas Department of Commerce's Office of Rural Prosperity, as well as the collaboration with the Community Development Division and the Kansas Main Street program. So this grant, in particular the HEAL grant, required matching funding. So that is why we have a very specific amount that we were granted, because that's exactly how much we had in matching funding. That funding was secured by Rackett's Tap House local private investors. So the building renovations of phase 1 will start no later than April, and the requirements for the HEAL grant is it must be completed within the next 2 years. So we just want to congratulate Rackets Tap House along with President Trevor Witt and his wife Lydia. They are local born and raised Abilene residents, and they've had this vision for quite some time. And as you know, this is a historic building in our downtown Abilene. It was originally owned by the Duckwell brothers in the early 1900s and later home to the Abilene Reflector Chronicle. So this is a really exciting achievement that we were awarded the HEAL grant. I don't know that Dickinson County has been a recipient for the HEAL grant for several years, and also want to share just for future reference that this is something that the Dickinson County Economic Development can sponsor the application, one per community. So for instance, we can, we have what, 9 municipalities? We could submit 9 applications for the HEAL grant if there is a need, a proven need with matching funds upwards of $100,000 that must be used for revitalization of a downtown building. So,
but only one per community. So like if you submitted or someone submitted 2 or 3 grants in Abilene this last cycle, the most you could get would be 1?
That's correct. We actually submitted 2 for downtown Abilene, and only 1 was able to receive it. So, but we can do 1 per community.
So you aren't cherry picking and say, well, this is the one
Yep.
we're going to submit. You could submit 2 or 3 if they were participating.
If I don't need sleep, yes. But yeah, so we could potentially do that. The chamber or the Department of Commerce would prefer that we choose the one local at a local level, so they don't have to do that decision making. But we felt like both of the nominations this time were really deserving, and so we went ahead and submitted 2. But in the future, we really look forward to working with the other municipalities and communities in Dickinson County to help their downtown revitalization efforts as well.
And this is an annual effort. So
the next round is coming up in the summer.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is great news. Congratulations.
Yeah.
What's HEAL stand for?
It stands for the Historic Economic Asset Lifeline.
Just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
HEAL sounds better.
Yes, it's an initiative aimed at assisting rural communities. The requirement is you must be a community of less than 50,000 and in revitalization of underutilized and dilapidated downtown structures and to foster economic growth. So this round, there was a total of 51 applicants, 21 projects received the funding. So, and then the second item I just wanted to share, I know that Commissioner Peterson had mentioned this during a prior commission meeting where you had received a postcard. So I thought I would expand on it. We are hosting the Dickinson County Community Outlook Conference, and that will be this coming Friday, February 2nd from 1 to 3 p.m. It is in the Abilene Community Center in the multi-purpose room, and that's at 1020 Northwest 8th. This is open to the public, so we certainly invite everyone to come. We especially want to invite business and community leaders throughout the county. It is not an Abilene only event, it is a countywide event. And we are going to be, we have invited the Wichita State University's Center for Economic Development and Business Research. They have some fantastic data to share with us about relative economic issues that will impact local businesses and communities, including economic conditions, economic drivers for the state and the regional economies, and then general expectations over the coming months. So topics will include labor demand, cost, wages, manufacturing, and real estate. And then I will be serving as our presenter to give in-depth analysis of the local economy. So if you are interested, certainly feel free to reach out to our office, and our phone number is 785-200-3518. And we can direct you to the online registration. And this is sponsored by our office, DKEDC, as well as the City of Abilene.
Yes, Kim. I do need to copy this confidential back, if you know, before you leave. You should all have one, so if not, I have much to adjourn.
Second. I thought you were making the
No,
motion.
I haven't.
I'll make the motion. then.
I'll second it. I can beat you, Ron.
You did.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. We stand adjourned.